I'm going to put a little bit more tomato in it. So as soon as that comes to a boil, we'll be all good to go with that. Now, do we have a saute pan that's, yeah, we do. There's one right down there, Richard. If you can hand it to me, that'd be great. We're going to saute the mushrooms. And after this sauce is slightly pureed, which is what I'm going to do with it, I don't want to puree it a lot because I don't want a smooth sauce. I want some chunky tomato in the sauce. As, again, I'm affecting the final outcome of the texture of the sauce when I talk about this. I'll put a little bit of butter in a pan here. And we'll throw our mushrooms in there. Hit those with a little pinch of salt. And a little bit of pepper. And we'll give that a chance to cook. And I'll be back in a split second to finish this tomato sauce off. Okay, the mushrooms are just about sauteed. The tomatoes are coming to a boil for the French tomato sauce. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to add the cream to the French tomato sauce with the mushrooms. I've got the mushrooms sauteed here in the pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cream to the mushrooms in the saute pan. I'm going to crank it up just a touch. And I'm going to reduce the cream right in there on top of the mushrooms, because I want to reduce the cream down to sauce consistency, because if I don't, when I add it to the tomato sauce that I make at sauce consistency, the cream mushroom mixture will water it down a little bit. So we want to adjust this texture before it gets in here after we adjust that texture, okay? So we're going to add a little bit more cream here. And this is just an addition that we're making to the French tomato sauce, which is almost complete, okay? So let's get a tight shot on this here. This has been brought to a boil now, and it's got the bacon, the garlic, the onions, the tomatoes, and I want to give it a little bit of what I would call a friendly zap with this machine, because I don't want this pureed to death, and I don't want this smooth. I want this slightly chunky. Then we will adjust the texture of this by either reducing it a little bit. I'm going to add a pinch of cornstarch into it, I think, today. And then we're going to add the mushroom cream reduction to it. But that would be the next level, or another next level that you could take this sauce to, the mushrooms and the cream. This sauce is about to be finished all by itself first right now. Let's start by zapping it. Let me get it off the table here and out over here in front of me. Okay. Okay. This one is still a little chunky, exactly the way I told you I think we should make it. And at this time right now, I'm going to add that little pinch of cornstarch into it. Now my cornstarch slurry, as it sits, look, the spoon's even stuck in it. As your cornstarch slurry sits, the cornstarch and the water tend to separate, and the cornstarch goes to the bottom. You got to go back in and reincorporate the cornstarch into the water, and so you have your slurry again. Otherwise, you have a layer of hardened cornstarch on the bottom, and the water that looks like it's got cornstarch in it, but kind of really doesn't, laying on top of that. So, okay, I'm opening this up again now, smoothing it out. There we go, just about done. See, you got this hard cornstarch on the bottom. You see there? Okay, we're back in business now. It's all redissolved into the water now, okay? Now we're going to take a little bit of that, add a little bit to the tomato sauce. Not because this is an integrated part of the tomato sauce. You can just reduce the tomatoes a little bit, and that's that. I'm doing this because I want a little bit more body. I don't want any water separation in my tomato sauce on the plate later. And I'm going to add the cream, which I need to shut off here, and the mushrooms to it, okay? That's the reason why I'm adding a little bit of cornstarch. I want a little bit more body. That should do it right there. didn't put a little pinch of. See, the cornstarch has to thicken it right away. You can see the results of it 10, 15 seconds, as long as it's still simmering. It thickens instantly. Getting hot over there. Okay. That's good enough for me. Now, we're going to go through this finishing process with this sauce, which is going to look, smell, and taste like all the finishing processes that you're going to see in this course. Spending the next few minutes adjusting, in this particular case, since we just adjusted the texture, finalizing the sauce by adjusting the taste of the sauce with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And that will be the finishing that this sauce needs. Now, let's take a look at the texture of the sauce now. See how it's a little bit chunky? Yours doesn't have to be that chunky. I like it like this. This is nice. Looks like tomato sauce. There's some pieces of tomatoes in there, you know? Nothing worse than getting the sauce all pureed. Okay, now let's have a taste of it and see how it is. I like this sauce. I shouldn't say things like this, but I like this sauce more than the Italian tomato sauce because I love bacon and white wine in the sauce. You know, this sauce needs sugar. This sauce needs salt. This sauce needs pepper, for starters. The sauce needs more sugar. I'm not making it sweet, by the way. The sauce is not getting sweet because I'm doing this. Salt. More pepper. The sauce is good, and the sauce needs more sugar. More pepper. More salt. And now, I got about a quart and 5 cups, 6 cups of sauce here. Now we're going to put 1.5 ounces or so of whole butter into the sauce as part of the finishing process. Again, that's 2 ounces of butter per quart would be the standard formula for buttering your sauces or soups. That's the reference term here that needs to be remembered and used is buttering the sauce. That's not to be confused with putting some butter on top of the sauce, maybe to keep it from forming a scab on it as it sits while you're holding it, getting ready to use it. That's not buttering the sauce. This is buttering the sauce right here, which is mixing soft, whole, unsalted butter into the sauce or soup until it's completely absorbed into it. This gives it this little finishing flavor that only butter can do when you do this.